B'Shem Eloheinu Nidgel, and in the name of, we'll raise the banner in the name of our God on high. Atu Yadaiti, Hashem should answer all your Mishalei Sechel. Ole Adonai Kol Mishalei Sechel, Hashem should fulfill all of your heart's requests. Atu Yadaiti, now I know, says King David, Ki Haishia Adonai Mashiach, that Hashem saves his anointed one. Yanehu Yishmei Kodshe, he rescues him. He answers him, Mishmei Kodshe, from his holy chamber. Bigvures, with might. Yesha, salvation. Yemine, from his right hand. Ele Rechav, Ele Basusim. Some come with their chariots and their tanks and their armored vehicles. Some with their infantry of Ele Basusim, with their horses and their horse-powered vehicles. V'anachnu b'shem Adonai Eloheinu nazkir. We have what we have to fight with. We have an excellent Air Force, for instance, but we come with the name of God on our lips. Hema karu v'nafalo, says in English, they bend and they fall. They bend and they fall. They don't get up. V'anachnu kamnu v'neis we stand up through all the trials and tribulations of 3,000 years of exile, pogroms and excommunications and banishments, persecutions, and we're still standing strong. We're stalwart. Adonai, Hisham Melech Vim Karenu. Hashem, deliver us. May the King answer us on the day that we call. Good morning, everybody. Adina, welcome back. Esther Hannah. Yael. Chama Esther. Chapter 4, a remarkable chapter. He said it's so beautifully constructed, He says the whole thing in the first paragraph, and then he says it again with more detail and examples. The first paragraph tells us that there are 4 garments of the soul: thought, speech, and deed. And when we use our thoughts in the service of Hashem, we use our speech in the service of Hashem, we use all our limbs in the service of Hashem, we are completely enveloped in garments of holiness. Wow, wow, wow. That's a different life. It's a different life. What did they say in the vernacular? When I read that, it blew me away. Just blew me away. Okay, now we're going to get into details. Page 78. Specifically, we've learned all this before, so in a way it's really review. Ubepratos in detail. Prat is a detail. Ubepratos is many details. Begin is chachma. What is chachma? Bina, das, shebenafshay, meluboshes. So the chachma bina das in your nefesh, which is called your intellect, right? Meluboshes, they become enclosed. You apply yourself to learning something. So your chachma bina das now are in a garment of Torah. There you are. Your chachma bina das are now in the world of Torah. You don't know, like they say on the street, from nothing else. You don't know from nothing else. Shehu masig. Now, masig is from bina. Masig is the power of comprehension. In other words, so your Chabad is in the Torah idea, but it's like, it's just a flash. Now, question is, how developed is your intellect? A simple person, there's a saying from, I think, King Solomon, a foolish person believes everything. Tell him everything, he'll believe you, right? But it's not necessarily an insult. It's not derogatory. Talking about a simple person, we are all simple people. Any knowledge that's greater than ours, we're simple. So the more knowledge we acquire, the highest level of belief. You believe what you don't know. What you know, you know. What you don't know, you believe. Simple person doesn't know anything, so he believes everything. So this is what it says here, that this Torah idea is in your mind to the extent of your grasp, as much of it as you can grasp. And what you can't grasp, you believe. So the more you learn, that's why it's important to learn Hasidus.
What that means, grasp what? The knowledge?
I'm not hearing you. You have to
grasp the knowledge.
Grasp. We're not to knowledge yet. We're not up to knowledge yet.
Oh,
we're just talking with the idea itself. You have an idea. Oh, what was that idea? You know, teacher, I know the answer. I know the answer. Okay, what's the answer? I forget. I don't know how to say it. That ever happened to you when you were a little girl? Teacher asked a question. You thought you knew the answer. You waved your hand. You said, okay, what's the answer? And you couldn't say it. It's because you have an idea, but you don't have the words yet. The words come from the level of development. Understand, that's called understanding. In Hebrew, it's called Bina. You probably know somebody named Bina. It's a popular name. I have a granddaughter named Bina. You're from Toronto. There's a woman, Bina Cole.
Oh.
Bina Cole. Right? You know her?
Is she Mrs.
She was your teacher? She must be 60 by now.
Yeah, probably Bina, though, in term.
They're a lot, yeah. So Bina is understanding. Bina is like the word binyan. Binyan means a building. Women are made like a building. Yeah, for a reason. It's a holy thought, because they have to carry a child. So it says women are given Bina Yisera, an extra amount of Bina. That's why women, by and large, run the household, because only they have the Bina to put everything together. Put men in their spot, they wouldn't. Everything would ravel down. Wouldn't work. So that's Bina is the faculty with which you masig an idea. Masig is the root of the word that means to grasp intellectually. So you grasp something with your Bina. Your Bina is on the left side of your brain. You have a certain amount of grasp on the right side of your brain, but mainly it's on the left. That's like men and women both share qualities. There are certain feminine qualities that a man can have, like an appreciation for beauty and so on. And there's certain dominant qualities in a woman that could make her very, very strong, strong-minded and tough. Certain female teachers, they're very, very stricter than the men. And we can't make general rules, but there's a little of this in that, and there's a little of that in this. But in the main, the source of an idea is in Chachma, which Chachma is basically a potential of an idea. Where is that potential? It's in your brain. Before that, it's not even an idea. So where does it come from? From nowhere. Just pops into your head. From nowhere. That's Chachma. It's the potential. What was that potential of? I know. What was it? I don't know how to say it. That's Bina.
Your light bulb.
Knowing how to say it, that's Bina. That's in Bina. That's in the left side. That's the development aspect of the idea. So you have Chachma, Bina. Das is in the back of the head. Cerebellum, is that what it's called? My mother's name was Sarah. Cerebellum, the back. That's how you connect bring the idea down from Chachma and Bina into your heart, goes through Das, goes down the back of your neck at the speed of light. Without Das, your Chachma and your Bina are just dream. Oh, he's a dreamer. She's got so many good ideas, aber tut gornish. She does nothing. It's just ideas. You know people like that? Okay. Adin, you wanted to tell me something.
So it goes back into your spine.
What?
Yeah. So your body physically has to do it?
All these things work through your physical body and they match. You know, it's cold weather now. You're going to buy a pair of gloves. You're going to buy a pair of gloves with 7 fingers or 5?
5.
5, because the glove has to fit your hand.
Yeah.
So the powers of your soul have to fit the organs of your body.
Yeah, so say you really want to, but some people can't figure out a way to actually do what they
Okay, so we have to work with certain people. Certain people have disabilities. The Rebbe has a unique attitude towards people with disabilities. In previous generations, a person with a disability, like in ancient Greece, they throw him out. Let him survive on his own. We don't need cripples in our society, they said. The Rebbe says, no, that's not God's point of view. God creates everybody with the potential, and everybody has a potential to connect to their creator. So if you have a disability, that means Hashem is giving you powers to compensate for your disability. So you shouldn't be called disabled or retarded. You should be called exceptional because you have exceptional abilities. They had a whole group of soldiers who were wounded in war in Israel, and to sort of bolster their morale, they brought them here to New York. And in the itinerary, they included a visit to the Lubavitcher Rebbe. And the Rebbe was amazing. First of all, he never came down. He spoke from a dais, from a table on a platform. He came down. He shook hands with every single one of them. He gave them hope. He showed them, he valued them. He showed them that they were important to him and they were important in the eyes of God. And he said, you should not be called Petsuyim, that means wounded, or another word for disabled. You'll Google up a whole bunch of synonyms. Yeah. He says, that's a misnomer. You should be called Metsuyonim, not Petsuyim, not people who are wounded, but people who are exceptional. And he lifted them up so high because there are things that every one of you can do that other people can't do. Here at the Guinness last Sunday, the place was overawed by this person got up and started going like this. He's deaf and dumb. And he made a Chabad house for people who cannot hear or speak. There are 15,000, he said. He didn't say it was subtitles. He was going like this, and someone was saying, he says, this is not my voice that you're hearing. He doesn't have a voice. But there are 15,000 like me, and they also deserve to do mitzvahs. Even though they're exempt from mitzvahs, they're not held responsible if they cannot do a mitzvah. But doesn't mean they can't do it. If they're offered, if they're taught, if they're given the opportunity, then they can connect to God the same way we do and learn about this. They can learn Tanya, they can learn Torah, they can learn halacha, they can do acts of charity, they can congregate together, which is a great mitzvah in itself. There's so many things. And he made a whole Chabad house. Beautiful, it was beautiful. The place, they gave him a standing ovation. It was very, very moving. Okay, so Bina is the development. Bina is in the left side of the brain, and then it comes down to the back of the brain, and from there into the heart, and from the heart into your active limbs, into your limbs. You do things. You're not going to do anything without feeling it in your heart. You want to ask a question?
Yes.
I'm giving you an example. You want to ask a question? You're going to feel in your heart, I want to ask this question, and then you raise your hand. You're not going to raise your hand if you don't feel that you want to ask the question. Got it? The heart is the driver, but the brain is not the driver. It has to get from the brain into the heart. And if it doesn't get from the brain into the heart, you are a D-R-E-A-M-E-R. What did I spell?
Driver?
Dreamer.
Yeah. So basically, and you're driving in a car, when you're in a car, same physically, a car, it's like the signals, like you're supposed to turn left in a car. You're supposed to turn left or.
So you make the signal, but then you have to turn.
Yeah.
Then you have to do it. If you don't know what you're doing, you didn't get your pass your driver's test yet. You don't know what you're doing, you're not going to turn the wheel. Or you're going to turn it wrong, you're going to fail your driver's test. I did that once. Keel Street. You know where Keel Street is?
That is Keel Street, what? No.
Yeah, that's where I got my driver's license. Shahak only in Bidbare. Why did I go to Toronto to get my driver's license? Because I couldn't get it here. They told me it was easier in Toronto.
It is easier, but it's more expensive.
So you know what? My parents did me a big favor. They made sure that I was born in the Toronto General Hospital.
Oh.
And I tried my test in Toronto. Not Thornhill. Thornhill was farms.
I know.
Okay, so these intellectual powers match the physical organs that you have, and they can operate. You have a power to see. What good is a power to see if you don't have eyes? You have to have physical eyes, but you have a power to see. If a person is for some reason blinded, nowadays it's amazing. You can go to the eye bank and get someone else's eye, put it in the socket, they'll connect it, and you can see, because the power to see is different from the ability to see. The ability to see is a physical ability. The power to see is an infinite power of the soul. And we have many powers of our soul: power to understand, power to think, power to move, power to eat, power to manipulate with our hands, power to play a musical instrument. Some people are coordinated, some people are not coordinated. These are all powers of the soul. Okay, so as much as you have the power to understand, your Bina will develop an idea. We're talking about an Torah idea about God. And these powers are, he says here, Shorish Nafshe L'mayla. They're connected to the root of your soul. Okay, I really want to move with this, Tanya, but it's not going to happen. Because now I'm going to explain to you about the powers of the soul, the supernal root of your soul. He adds this word. What does he mean when he says, all this is according to the supernal root of your soul? That means your soul is rooted in God. We said yesterday that God emanates from within himself. Within him, no one else creates it for him. He does it in himself. 10 powers, the DNA of our creation, the whole creation. And it's mirrored in us. He created mankind in his image. That is the image of God. These 10 powers, that's a godly image. It's not a physical image. But it later down the line becomes a physical reflection, so to speak. So what does it mean, the power of the soul? Let's say a person's soul comes from the side of, well, what are the 7 drivers? 7 days of the week, right? First day of the week, what did God create? God said, let there be light. The first power of the soul is connected with making light. Is that good? Person's in a dark room, person's confused. You turn on the light for them. Is that good? Is it an act of cruelty or kindness? Kindness. So that's the first power, is kindness. Love. Show you care. You show that you care. I care about you. I care about you. So far as I'm concerned, you are the only thing in my universe right now. That's love. Okay. And then Mrs. Pape says, are you coming to have supper? Excuse me, have to go have supper. Is that love? Yeah, tough love. It's from the other side, from the left. Okay. So is your soul rooted on the right or on the left? All these powers, the right, the left, love and discipline, they're godly powers. They're all from the same God. They're from the same source. But where in that source? So maybe my soul comes from the side that's good, side of love, side of kindness. So if you're going to ask me a question, what should you do? I'm going to answer you with kindness, because that's where my soul is rooted. So I'm going to be inclined in that direction. And what if it's the other way around? What if my soul comes from a source that's like discipline? Strength and discipline, what?
It's even greater.
That's even greater. We're not talking about which is greater. They're all from God. They're all godly power. They're both infinite. Is infinite greater than infinite? Is infinite what's greater? Infinite love or infinite power? They're both infinite.
Yeah.
They're both infinite. When you put in mathematics, when you put infinity into a mathematical equation, the whole equation becomes infinite. There's no limit to the result. Okay? So if you come to somebody now who's got a strong female element in the root of their soul, so come to supper already. Remember to put your coat on before you go outside. What's wrong with you? It's freezing out. And wear a scarf and gloves. It's snowing. Remember your boots. Okay, mommy. Okay. And where's Tati? Tati went to work. Who's running the show? Mommy. Woman has extra power to keep the whole place running. Just pay the bill. Tati, pay the bill. Okay. So there was a guy, and let's say a person, the root of his soul is not just in love or discipline. It's lower down, a reflection lower down. The root of his soul is, yeah, he loves this idea and he's going to get it done. He is going to get it done, right? That's lower down. That's called Netzach. That's what happened on Thursday. That's what God made on Thursday. Sun and the moon and the stars and all the insects, the swarming things in the air, the mosquitoes, and the swarming things on the earth, worms. And then Friday is, listen, we have to have certain restrictions and limits to everything. So we need to have anteaters to eat the ants. Animals to feed all the creatures. We have powers to hunt. You know, they did an experiment, they did a thing in the coyotes in the West, Midwest, were attacking the animals of the farmers. So they got rid of the coyotes. They hunted them, they got rid of them. So what happened? They had a plague of prairie dogs tunneling, eating up all the crops. So they had to bring the coyotes back to control the prairie dogs. That's getting it done, cutting away what you don't need. That's doing it right. That's a different soul level. So your soul may be from I'm going to get it done no matter what level, or I'm going to get it done right level, which is called Hoy, glory. The glory, the majesty of the king is perceived with that. That's its source. So what's the source of your soul? So you have a person, there was this famous story, I'm sure you heard it. There was a person, a non-Jewish person, and he was a scoffer. He saw the Jews are very complex, have a very complex social structure. And he says, you know what, I'd like to be a Jew, but I have no use for all of this nonsense. Just tell me what it's all about. Quick, I have no time. I'm just going to stand on one foot. Tell me what it's all about while I stand on one foot. So he went to a certain rabbi, a very famous rabbi, And he took a measuring stick and he said, get the heck out of here. What kind of chutzpah is that? Yeah, rude, terrible young man. You can never convert to be Jewish if that's your attitude. Get lost. Quick. He took a stick to him and chased him away. Where was the root of his soul? Which side?
The left side.
Left side. 100%. Was he correct? Yeah, he was correct. Was it nice? No. It wasn't nice, but he was correct. The guy was rude. It was obnoxious. Tell me the whole story. Tell me your whole story. What's the whole point of your whole religion? Tell me, will I stand on one foot? How long can you stand on one foot? If we had more time, we'd do an exercise. How long can we stand on one foot? 60 seconds. So he went to a different rabbi. He said to me, tell me the whole story. I really want to become Jewish. I think you're a very wonderful people. You're smart. You're good in business. You're well off. You have nice families. I would like to be part of your people. What's it all about? Tell me why I stand on one foot. He said to him, if you don't like something, don't do it to the next guy. They call it the golden rule. The whole world calls that the golden rule. They don't think that they thought it was from Christianity. It's not. It's from the Talmud. It's what side is his soul from?
The right side.
The right side. So what was his name? Hillel. Famous Hillel. His soul was from the right side, which is the side of love. He answered him with love. But he didn't tell him, love your neighbor like yourself. That was too high. He wasn't ready to even hear that. So he just put it on a much lower level. If you don't like it, don't do it to someone else. What was the other rabbi? They learned together they had the same teacher. Hillel and his name was Shammai. Shammai's from the left side. So he answered him with a left side attitude, which is everything has a measure. Everything has a way, a right and a wrong. Don't mix them up. Respect. You have to have respect. You can't have love if you don't have respect. Respect comes first. That's Shammai. And it comes out in halacha. Coming up to the festival of Hanukkah. How do we celebrate Hanukkah? What do we do on Hanukkah? We eat latkes, right? What else do we do? We light the menorah. First night of Hanukkah. What's the law of Hanukkah? The law of Hanukkah is you light one candle to remember the miracle of the oil. Is that what we do? One candle is enough?
No.
You're wrong. That was from the left side. You're wrong. One candle is enough. One candle is enough, but that's not what we do.
Wait, we light from left to right.
What if you only have one? Do you light on the left or the right? I'm just teasing.
No, but does that have to do with that? Does it have to do with that? Like lighting from left to right on Hanukkah, how we do this way?
You light the new candle first.
Oh, okay.
You set the candles up on the right, and you move them to the left, and you light the new candle first, which is on the left, and then you light the others down to the right. That's how we do it. That's the law. That's the law. Okay? But how do we do it? So Hillel, from which side is Hillel from? Love. He says, we light from right to left, one candle each night, and we grow. Each night we add another one. So we're increasing in light, more love, more love, more love. What does Shammai say? Does he agree? Absolutely not. 100% wrong, says Shammai. 100% wrong. We light the whole thing, 8 candles. And the second night we light 7 candles. And the third night we light 6 candles and so on. Go the other way. Which is right? They're both right. And the students of Shammai did it that way, and the students of Hillel did it that way, until finally the sages took a vote, and they said, there'll be confusion. People won't know what to do. There has to be one way that we all do. How do we decide? We go by the majority. And the majority of students, of sages at that time followed Hillel because he was very kind, because his attitude was from the right, was the attitude of love. But the attitude of Shammai is very, very high. It's a very, very, very high spiritual level. And therefore, it was not appropriate for everybody to embrace that level of service of God. And therefore, it didn't become the law that everybody has to follow. But they say in the future, when everybody will be on a much higher level after Mashiach comes, the law will be like Beis Shammai says, not like Hillel says. So there was a voice that came out from heaven and said, Hillel and Shammai are both right. They both attitudes of rooted in godliness, but the law is going to be like Hillel, because God is a God of love, and that's the way we're going to do it until Mashiach comes. So what do we see from this? That your approach and your service of God is going to, and your understanding of a Torah idea is going to depend on the supernal root of your soul. Hillel's soul was rooted in kindness, and Shammai's soul was rooted in discipline. They are both valid ways of serving God, but we have to have one way, that's called the halacha, the way of going. And the halacha is determined by the sages of the great assembly, the greatest teachers of all Israel. And it can only be changed by an assembly that's even greater than themselves. And that didn't arise yet. So the laws of the way Shammai understands is a godly way, the way Hillel understands is a godly way, but the law depends, each way each one expresses it, they have the same teacher, according to the supernal root of their soul, from the root of their soul in godliness. One from chesed, one from gevurah. That's what this phrase means. We spent the whole class discussing 4 words. Got it?
Yeah.
Yay!
But I always relate back to parents and how you said some of them are very disciplined. The mother, it's like discipline, like very tough, but it's correct, but it's not a nice way. Is that like also has to do with that?
That's why, well, listen, it has everything to do with it, because there's a mix. Everybody knows you can't write a check on your bank account if you don't make a deposit. You cannot discipline your child if you don't give them a lot of love. You cannot criticize your child without a much greater investment in appreciation.
Yeah.
Or else the check will bounce. If you don't have enough money in the bank, the check's going to bounce. If you don't have enough appreciation that the child doesn't feel that you appreciate them, they're not going to listen to your criticism. They're going to leave home.
No, but
They say, my mother never cared about me, just screamed at me the whole time. Now I'm going to say a bracha chreina. Yeah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam v'nefesh ha'sreinan al kel masha b'rasa l'chayis b'hem nefesh kol chai baruch chei ha'elamin. So now you've got something to talk about. All these possibilities and variables, Adina, that are so interesting to you. That's what psychology studies are made up of.
Yeah.
You've got what to discuss with your friends about what does it all imply? All this, how do we apply all this information?
Because you said the balancing of the check, it's basically the parents, the children grow up, it determines who they are, how they bring up these actions.
Yeah, and remember, with which you're going to do your mitzvahs, and with which you're going to think and do and teach and do everything. These garments come from the moment of creation, the wedding night. So we want to, therefore, the sages said a person should sanctify himself or herself when having a vow. Because all the mitzvahs that we do go through these three garments of the soul. But the soul itself, that's God. Soul is God. Goes with you everywhere you go.
Thank you.
Have a great Shabbos, girls.
Ayush, Adina, we're going today to the treatment.
You go with me?
Yeah,
Wow, I will go. Chava and.
Chava, me and you, I think.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Maybe someone else, but I'll let you know what we're doing. The meal is at 6. It's early, okay? So me and Chava are going to 7:30. You can come with us for Kabbalah Shabbat.
Yes, right now I'm gonna go to.
And then right after we'll go together.
Okay.
Right after
From there.
Kabbalah Shabbat, yeah. Okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to find if there's any sites for New York. I want to take pictures of someone like Toronto. And it's out here, you know what I mean? Like, there's no pictures
Yeah.
of New York.
When
Like,
we
go
go,
out or something, yeah. I mean, and we should go all as a group
yeah.
on Sunday. One of the times they don't do that.
We did it once, and I know some of the girls like it too. I was just working.
I was saying if it's an off day that you're not working, every day. So when you get to go like shopping and stuff, it could be in the night too, it doesn't have to be in the day.
I do it early in the morning, sometimes on Sunday before I go to work.
Cause it's really nice, the bridges, it's nice.
Yeah. We took the ferry once from whatever it was to Williamsburg. It's nice, I mean, just to do the ferry and back.
Yeah. I think just like Saturdays, I don't
It's
like,
freezing.
I know, the forefathers, so I have to have the memories, cause you know what? I had no pictures one time, and I never had any pictures on my thing, everyone, girls took pictures, and I took a lot of things. Memories, cause sometimes like when you look back at the picture, it's like.
Yeah, for sure. Julie, what do you say you're speaking Russian? I'm not speaking Russian. No, what he said. Who? Me? So Julie, you know Russian.
Really? I didn't hear that.
We didn't. Why did they not tell you that for an hour now?
Yeah, that was weird. Like, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, sure, it's great.
Because he said he was trying to translate something from Russian. They said, Julie, you speak Russian.
Oh, really?
You didn't pay attention, girl.
Sorry, sometimes when I write, I don't hear.
Yeah, so it was funny. Like, yeah, Julie is Russian. For sure. Mm-hmm. That's true.
I know pretty yet.
Yeah, I'm Olivier. Shut up! You know, Julie speak Russian.
Oh!
Katila. Yeah.
Oh my god.
You smell so good.
You smell so good. But you didn't wear it yesterday. What? Did you put anything?
There's like.
Yeah. No, I still smell it. It's like.
You said, you see, we literally wake up at the same time. We look at the first thing that I see in the morning is sugar.
Oh, it's so cutie.
So funny.
You still research?
Oh, you look at the first. We're all like waiting for someone to give us like the power to get up, you know?
You guys are cute.
This morning was really difficult.
Oh my god. Really?
Because it's like, and wake up. Last day, it's Shabbat. Morning.
Good morning.
I need to go.
I got that.
You got that?
Yeah. That's what I told myself too.
But tomorrow it's Shabbat.
And I wake up early anyway.
So when do you sleep in?
I go to sleep, I try to go to sleep earlier. I like to wake up early.
Smart. So much, yeah.
That's
I work better in the mornings.
Yeah. I like the morning.
Even if I stay up late, I'm not accomplishing too much.
Yeah, it's true. It's really true.
The 1 hour in the morning, I could do way more than 3 hours at night.
Yeah. How are you?
Baruch Hashem, and you?
I'm good.
Where are you from originally?
Yerushalayim.
Oh, so this is cold for you.
I live
Is
in
it?
Colorado.
Oh, okay.
It's cold for everyone.
I think it's even for Colorado, it's
It's very windy.
here it's colder than Colorado. Colorado's been snowing for a month now, but it's still
Right.
more cold than here. In Colorado, it's not that cold, it just snows, like, thick white
Right.
snow, just pretty. Here it's just freezing for no reason. The sun is out and it's freezing.
It's true.
So funny.
Where in Colorado?
I used to live in Denver, but my shul was in Aurora.
Was it AURO?
AU, yeah, Aurora.
Okay.
Yeah. You grew up here?
Yeah.
Wow. You wanted to try somewhere else?
Grew up, I lived in Australia for 15 years.
Yeah, you said that.
So I lived in a beautiful place. Sydney's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
No snow there. No cold there.
No cold there, not at all.
It's like more like Miami kind of weather, Not as
I
hot.
lived in Florida too.
Not as hot, but never like real winter,
Yeah. I like it. Do they really have like snakes everywhere?
Not where I was. No
I-
kangaroos, no snakes.
Really?
I mean, kangaroos, like if you're driving up like the mountains, just like here, you don't see deer in the street, but if you drive.
So like I can't you just see
You
kangaroos?
like they have the signs to watch out for kangaroos, just like they have here to watch out for deer.
That's crazy.
But you don't like see them often,
Wow.
Not in the
You
city,
what?
not in the city where, yeah, I've seen, but.
Wow.
Like people say you live in New York, nobody's gonna tell you, do you see deer, right?
Right.
Like if you go up to the mountains or whatever,
Yeah.
so it's the same in Australia, like certain
So
places,
cool.
you have to watch out for the kangaroos.
And they also have koalas, no?
Yeah, but again, like I saw those in the zoo or in a
Oh.
place, I didn't see that,
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I really like your belt.
Thank you.